What's up, guys? I was going to give y'all an update on the Camaro. I didn't really film the process, but that door panel's been off. I didn't film the process because it was pretty difficult to do without filming, but we did get the motor out. With these cars, the motor sits so far back in the bay that it's just easier to pull them from the bottom. So you just drop the cradle, which it's really not that many bolts. But the problem is, like our nitrous lines and stuff like that, and the radiator and all that, you gotta get all that stuff unhooked, and you just gotta know what to unhook. There's not really many tutorials on how to do it, but I mean it's pretty self-explanatory. There's 6 bolts holding the K member on, and you unbolt the strut towers, and then like little stuff everywhere, like cooling lines and stuff like that. In the starter, but all everything on the back was already unbolted because we'd already pulled the transmission out and stuff like that. But yeah, so we have a straight pipe that's welded all the way back with a muffler, and the headers are actually welded to the exhaust. So it was easier just after we dropped the cradle to the ground to just unbolt the headers and pull the motor out the bottom, because we have a 2-post lift, and it was just easier to do it that way. You also got to, just to let anybody that sees this video and is doing it themselves, go in the interior. It's kind of dark, hard to see. You'll pull under your dash, you'll pull that out, unclip your ECU from 2 harnesses in the dash, and then run it through the firewall. Also, I was going to show you all the damage on the back of the block, because I know you really couldn't see it. That is the cylinder you're looking at right there. This right here is where the piston goes, and then that is a head bolt that you're looking at. My flywheel, I think, is gonna be warped. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I was gonna use it on my LQ4, so that way I can convert it to I can convert my transmission to a 4L60E for that LQ4, but I might just have to get a new one. But it is what it is. That's really all the damage to the motor. Also, let me find my nitrous solenoid real quick. I think this is the fuel side. Regardless, this line right here hooks up to the solenoid. We had put in some, when we installed the kit, we put some thread locker on these lines so that way that they wouldn't come undone or anything like that. And the thread locker actually blocked up the nitrous line because it got inside right here. And there's like a little filter to keep dirt from going into your solenoid. And the thread locker actually blocked it up. So I was spraying fuel with no nitrous into my motor for like probably half a season, and we never checked it. We were always wondering why the car wasn't acting up, because every time I sprayed it, obviously it would just bog out and I would run slower because I'm spraying extra fuel into the car with no additive. So it was just getting fuel and no nitrous, so obviously, I mean, it was gonna go slower. But that's not really what caused our detonation. In fact, I wasn't, or not detonated, but our transmission explosion. I wasn't even spraying that night. But yeah, it's a pretty hard process. I would say it took me about 2 days. With one person, it's pretty difficult. The problem with it is we had a lot of rusted bolts and stuff like that, and you can't use air on a lot of these bolts because of where they're at. You can't reach them with a impact. So it's just breaking them off and stuff like that. Like my strut tower mounts, the bolts broke off on it, and just like the hardest thing really isn't even breaking the bolts. It's trying to figure out everything you gotta undo, because you'll start dropping it and be like, oh, forgot that. Oh, I need to do this, and you know, it just gets kind of nerve-wracking because you don't want to tear anything up. In fact, actually, I cut a transmission cooler line because we couldn't get the fitting undone, so I just cut it, and I was like, I'll just buy another one. So, I mean, it was late and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. I called Texas Speed the other day for the LQ4 that we have. It's at the machine shop right now getting vatted, and we got new rod bearings, main bearings, cam bearings, lifters, push rods. We're reusing our rocker arms, I think, from the LS1. Reusing our pistons, I'm pretty sure, because the LS1's got the forged pistons from the factory. I think we're gonna use our rods too. I don't know if I said that or not. Our intake. We're gonna use. I think we're gonna use that throttle body though, because this is a ported throttle body. But whenever we went and got it tuned, it was a bad tuner. He drilled a hole in our throttle body for the idle, because the idle air sensor was messing it up. And so he drilled a hole in it. We're still gonna use our SLP intake. It's in the shop, and we're pretty much gonna take everything from this motor, Texas Speed Stage 2 poured and polished heads, MS3 cam, and put it in the LQ4, which you can do because it's the same casting as the LS1. It's just an iron block, and it's got a little bit different of a stroke on the crank. That's what makes it the 6.0. We thought about doing the Eagle 408 piston and crank kit, but it was about $2,000. It was just kind of out of our price range, and I might eventually do it if I ever go the boosted route, but for now we're just gonna kind of keep spraying nitrous, poor man's horsepower, do what we can afford. Probably gonna have to take our ECU to somebody and see if they can do like I'm sure this swap's been done before, a flash tune, because I really don't want to get it dyno tuned. It's so expensive, but they probably already have like set up tunes for this, because I mean Texas Speed head cam packages are pretty common, and 6.0 F bodies or 6.0 swaps are pretty common too, so it's not like it's unheard of. We're not pushing new boundaries here. But I mean, as far as the motor went, I pulled the plugs on it and stuff. Everything was good on it. It just messed us up as we broke the block. That was really the only thing. And if it had broken any other place, really, we could have welded it back. Even though it's aluminum, we could have welded it. But just the area that it broke, it's never gonna weld back correctly, especially with this water jacket right here. But I mean, it is what it is. Y'all keep posted on my YouTube channel. We're gonna go, once we get the parts next week, we're going back to my grandfather's house where he has our 6.0, and we're gonna put it back. We're gonna tear this down, move all the parts over, and put it back together. So yeah, y'all take care.